I didn't know that you could be an artist until I went to art school, and then this whole world kind of opened up. See, this is the thing, when you start to make patterns, you then start to see all these other things that you wouldn't see if it was a single image. All these other things combined start to emerge that you kind of think, oh, I didn't know that was there. So I suppose I should say my name is Sonia Boyce, and I'm the artist who's put this show together. And I've been making art for a very, very long time.
What inspired you to be an artist?
I was always drawing, and my art teacher at school kind of took me under her wing and used to always stand over me when I was doing work. I was 15 at the time. She wrote a letter to my mum saying, I think your daughter should go to the local art school. And nobody in my family does art for a living. And we didn't know anything about art schools. And I didn't know that you could be an artist until I went to art school. And then this whole world kind of opened up that I kind of thought, wow, are you allowed to do that? You know, it's a lot of hard work, and there's lots of processes involved in making things. But yeah, I was not far from probably the age that you are. And my teacher just said, you need to go to art school. So I went and thought, wow, this is possible.
So my question is, do you like draw with a lot of patterns, or do you stick to one pattern?
I was going to art college one day a week from school, and we used to do figure drawings. And my teacher was basically saying to me all the time when I was doing these drawings, oh, you never put anything in the background. And so when I went on to do my degree course, I would be doing these drawings, but I could hear my life drawing class tutor in my head saying, you need to put a background in. My parents' home had lots of paper, wallpaper patterns. My mum used to be a seamstress, so there was always lots of cloth with lots of patterns. So I thought, well, maybe if I filled the background with a pattern, then I wouldn't have to worry about what's in the background. And that's how I started to look at patterns. And then I started to create patterns after a while. So this is like over 40 years ago. I started to actually make my own patterns. So that's a pattern. The way that this pattern is made is basically taking a photograph and mirroring it, and then mirroring it again. And that becomes the pattern. And it just gets repeated and repeated and repeated. Before I put the sound up, now, what I will say about the reason why I did silent disco was because if I am making a film that's going to be out there in the world, any music that I play, I have to pay the person who made that music a license fee. So this silent disco went on for 3 hours with 2 DJs both playing their own playlists. But I knew before I filmed that I couldn't film the sound of what they were listening to because I don't have that much money to pay all the licenses of the music that they might be hearing. So I then started to think about, what does it sound like when you don't hear the music, but you just hear the people? And then I created, towards the end of the film, my own little sound rhythm track, just to end the film. What you will be hearing is people, they're moving around, they're talking to each other, but we can't hear.
How do you decide when a piece is finished?
Well, there are several things. Often I've got a deadline, so that will sometimes factor into I've got to get it finished. It's not like a science, it's more like a feeling of like, oh, I can't think what else I can do to this. Or like with the video, we spent about 3 months editing, and I work with an editor. So we sit together and we'll edit it. And I was thinking about how when people go into galleries and they see video work, if it feels like it's going on forever, people get bored. So I was kind of thinking about, okay, let's try and keep it around the 10-minute mark. So it was like narrowing it down, taking bits out, thinking, oh, that lasts too long. But it's not a science, it's more a feeling.
Do you have a favorite song?
I always have songs in my head. When you asked that question immediately, I thought there's a song by Shirley Bassey. You're unlikely to know who Shirley Bassey is, but she was very, very famous in the 60s, and she sang the theme tune for a James Bond film, which made her like globally famous. I'll have songs like that are, or I'll have a playlist. Sometimes I'm dancing on my own in the studio to music. Sometimes when I'm just kind of like, usually when nobody else sees me, it's like I'm just doing it for myself. But music is really very important, of course. So this is an actress in the UK called Carmen Munro, and she's 90 in this film. And she's had a long career. So this is my video portrait of her, just saying what she's done over the last 60 years of her career. And the soundtrack is very science fiction-y. It's actually sound reversed, which is why it sounds so weird and abstract. I was going to ask, what do people think about the wallpaper?
I think like it brings joy and happiness when I look at the wall, because it's all different colors. It's bright. There's no like dark color. Well, there is, but that pops out, and it's like pretty because I like those circles.
The orange ones?
Yeah, these.
Oh, those. Okay. Do you think there's too much wallpaper here? That was what I was worried about.
All the colors kind of remind me of like a peacock, and it looks really nice.
Oh, thank you. That's lovely. I wanted something bright.
So what I think about the art is like reminds me of like nature and outside, because like outside is like always so colorful and there's like so many things to see, and like it just looks amazing to look at, and it reminds me of like happiness and like yeah. So.
That is lovely. There's a designer from the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th century, called William Morris, and he did hundreds and hundreds of wallpaper designs where he would use his garden as the starting point for trying to figure out how to make nature into a repeat pattern. I've studied his work and I go back to it, and it kind of goes back to this question about geometry. I don't quite understand how he puts these shapes together, these wild shapes that somehow they make a really beautiful pattern.